Technology may have been miseducated, but you do not have to be. Let's get started. Welcome to the Miseducation of Technology podcast. I'm your host, Danielle, an attorney, tech policy professional, and someone who is deeply passionate about helping the Black community better understand how technology is shaping our lives. Because we live in a world where technology drives nearly everything: our jobs, our communities, our connections, and even our politics. But what if I told you that much of what we've been taught about technology is incomplete, biased, or outright misleading? What if I told you that the same tools we use every day, such as social media, internet infrastructure, and AI, aren't just flawed? They've been based on and trained on data that reflects the same systemic biases and inequities that have impacted us for generations. The truth is, technology is miseducated. The algorithms deciding what content you see, the AI systems determining who gets hired, and the platforms shaping public discourse are all learning from historical data and structures that were never designed with Black people in mind. When flawed data becomes the foundation, it perpetuates harmful stereotypes, reinforces power imbalances, and amplifies the discrimination that has been historically baked into our society. Algorithms don't just passively organize information. They actively decide whose voices are heard and whose are silenced. AI doesn't simply predict outcomes. It replicates the same problematic patterns found in the data it is fed. From biased facial recognition systems that disproportionately impact Black communities, to social media platforms prioritizing clicks over truth, these technologies are far from neutral. They are products of the same flawed systems that miseducate our society about race, power, and fairness. To navigate the digital world effectively and to ensure it serves as a tool instead of a hindrance, we must first confront and understand these hidden forces. As the scripture says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And only by seeking truth and understanding can we begin to learn to use technology in ways that work for us and not against us. That's why this podcast was created, to unpack these inequities, challenge the miseducation of technology, and provide tools to empower the Black community. We'll explore how these gaps in our understanding of technology and in its essential design impact our lives, but more importantly, we'll also focus on what we can do about it, because while technology may be miseducated, we do not have to be. So join me on this journey to start learning how we can use these tools in ways that work for us and not against us. But before we get into that, I think it's important for you to understand the reason behind the name of the podcast. So if you grew up in the 90s like me, you'll recognize in part the inspiration for this podcast name, which is The Miseducation of Technology, from Lauryn Hill's iconic album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And just as Hill's music urged us to unlearn harmful narratives, this podcast invites us to rethink how we've been taught to understand technology and to take control of how we use it to shape our lives. But the concept of miseducation goes even deeper, drawing from Carter G. Woodson's The Miseducation of the Negro, which exposed how distorted education reinforced systemic inequities. In the same way, the Miseducation of Technology podcast challenges myths about technology, such as the idea that algorithms are neutral, that social media always brings us closer together, or that technology automatically creates opportunities for everyone. But here's the truth. Technology reflects the people and systems that create it. And those systems are often biased, inequitable, and built on incomplete data. For example, predictive policing tools claim to reduce crime, but they disproportionately target Black communities, reinforcing cycles of inequality. It's not enough to critique these systems. We need to understand them, to challenge them, so we can reimagine how they can serve us instead. And that is where this podcast comes in. So here's what you can expect to learn and take away from the Miseducation of Technology podcast. Number 1, understanding the history. Technology just didn't appear out of nowhere. It was built on systems and patterns that already existed. For example, practices like redlining didn't just disappear. They evolved into digital tools like biased credit scoring algorithms. Understanding where these systems came from gives us the tools to address them. Number 2, uncovering the myth in technology. We've been told that technology is neutral, but that's a myth. From biased algorithms to flawed data sets, we'll expose how the biases of the people who actually create the technology influence the tools we use daily, and how these tools often perpetuate inequality. Number 3, understanding social media regulation. Social media platforms promise connection, but what we receive is misinformation, disinformation, polarization, and manipulation. This podcast will explore how Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter, often with the help of our own federal government, control the narrative and the real-world consequences for our communities. We will also explore the laws, like Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, that make all of this possible. Number 4, solutions for navigating tech. Now, with all that being said, technology may be flawed, but you can learn to make it work for you. Whether it's how to beat an AI-powered applicant tracking system to get a job interview, protect your privacy in a surveillance-heavy world, or use AI tools to grow your business, I'll share actionable strategies to level the playing field so we understand how to thrive in this tech-driven world. And lastly, shaping the future. Emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and the metaverse are reshaping the world in real time. But will they create more barriers or opportunities for Black communities? We'll discuss how to stay ahead of these changes and ensure that these tools work for us and not against us. Now, let's discuss who this podcast was made for. This podcast is made for people who are ready to take ownership of their relationship with technology. If you've ever felt like the tech world wasn't built for you, or that it's just too confusing to navigate, this podcast is here to help. We're breaking it all down: what's happening in the tech policy world, how technology has been miseducated, why it matters, and how you can make technology work for you. It's also for Black listeners who want to take control of their digital worlds, whether that's by learning how AI tools can help grow a business, protecting their privacy in a world of constant surveillance, or understanding how to influence tech policy to create more equitable systems. It's also for allies and advocates who care about creating a fairer, more inclusive digital future. Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a tech policy nerd like me, or someone just trying to make sense of the digital world, you are in the right place. Even though technology hasn't been designed for us or by us in large part, we're not here to play victim. We're here to learn. We're here to adapt, and we're here to thrive together and make these systems work for us. So, what makes this podcast different? You may be asking yourself why you should listen to the Miseducation of Technology podcast. Well, it's because this isn't just another tech podcast. We're not here to geek out over the latest gadgets or gizmos or talk about what's trending in Silicon Valley. We are here to seek knowledge. We're here to uncover the deeper truths about how technology shapes society and how to explore how we can reclaim our agency in a world that increasingly revolves around it. However, this podcast also isn't just about explaining what's wrong. It's about equipping you with the tools to make it right. From breaking down social media regulations to navigating biased algorithms, every episode is focused on practical empowerment. Because again, while technology may be miseducated, you do not have to be. Now that you know what this podcast is all about, we are kicking things off next week with a deep dive into one of the most urgent issues in technology today, the new Jim Code, as coined by Rua Benjamin. In episode 2, The New Jim Code, How Artificial Intelligence is Changing the Face of Discrimination, we'll explore how systems like facial recognition technology, predictive policing, and biased algorithms are not only flawed, but also reinforce systemic inequities. We'll unpack how decades of over-policing, discriminatory lending practices, and hiring biases have made their way into AI systems, and we'll discuss actionable steps to disrupt these harmful patterns. But more importantly, we will empower you to navigate this digital world with knowledge. Because while technology may be miseducated, you do not have to be. Technology is a tool and you have the power to decide how to use it. So let's learn, let's grow, and let's thrive together. See you next week on the Miseducation of Technology podcast.